Yes, it's Ikanaba.
Yeah, but we are very happy. I mean,
Yeah.
we're hoping. I mean, on Monday, I think the creditor committee's assurances came on Friday.
Yes.
So on Monday, like, we're all in high hopes. Even the dollar reacted to it.
Yeah, we started seeing some appreciations. Funny. I mean, it's gone back to.
I mean, it was 11:19 in the morning. Then
it was
later in the afternoon,
11:40.
like 11:70.
Yeah.
Then the following morning was 11:80. I'm like, what's happening?
Hello and welcome to another episode of BizTech on GhanaWeb TV with me, Mawuli Ahorlumegah, where I'll be discussing with my colleague Stella Sogli about Ghana's recent approval of a 3 billion loan request from the International Monetary Fund. Stella,
Hi,
welcome to the show.
Hello.
It's good to have you again.
Again, yeah.
Yes, the last time we were here, we talked about inflation and how things are moving on.
We're very hopeful.
Yes, we're very hopeful.
By May or by somewhere getting to the end of the month, we'll be able to close the deal. And it has happened.
Yeah, it has happened. That was yesterday, May 17th.
Yeah.
The IMF board approved Ghana's loan request for 3 billion. But I think the perception out there is we are going to get all the 3 billion, but it's going to come in tranches. But we're going to look at, just briefly go back as to what brought us to this point. It's our 17th time going to the IMF. Should we be, would this be the last for us?
Oh, I think that saying whether this will be the last for us, you can't really say that in a definite term, because when the current government came into power, they sold us the idea of Ghana Beyond Aid. And we were all excited about it. I, for one, was very excited about it because Ghana Beyond Aid will only be a dream come true for a country which is rich in gold. We have all the natural resources that you can think about, and we have so much. We have a very young population, like, we are youthful. You know, when you talk about all the assets, Ghana has it. So if we can get to the point where we can invest or we can take advantage of the things that we have and be a country beyond aid, then of course, like, it's a good thing. But as it stands now, where our debt levels have gone to, it will be difficult. Looking at the approval document sent by the IMF, it says that we are looking at sustainable levels from now till about 2026.
That's a very long time.
Yes, that's about 3 years from now. And that's when the program ends, you know. And you can be a little hopeful because IMF will not sit back and just allow Ghana to use the money the way we want to. They'll actually be here to do their checks and balances and ensure that things will go as planned. So for that, we can be a little hopeful that, well, it's coming. It will do something. We will get to sustainable levels. But to say whether or not we will go back again, that's another one. Let's just
It's a question for
pray.
the gods.
Even my positive self cannot bring myself to say that we will not go back again, because we saw heaven and earth that we won't go.
Yeah.
Even when we were nearing crisis, and we still went anyways.
Speaking of positives, we've had the president sort of signal to us that this is going to restore some level of economic stability. But when you look at the data, it looks like our economy has been struggling way back, as far back as 2020, 2019. But then they believe that the IMF bailout, the 3 billion bailout, is going to shore up some of the country's reserve. But then there's also that concern that the money is not really that much, and Ghana in itself, through its natural resources, can make this money. What's your take on that?
I think that one thing that this government have been able to do so much is to preach happenings. Yes, happenings in a very positive light that makes it look like. See, this morning my neighbors were talking about the fact that the IMF money has come. Hey, if you have dollar, wait, don't go and change it.
Yeah.
The dollar is coming down.
We even had the bank, some banks even stop taking in people, like stop ensuring that people don't even open dollar accounts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, and so even the dollar has seen some drastic change in just
but I think
from
that's
Friday.
Based on the sentiments that's happening.
Exactly,
you know,
that's what I'm saying.
That
the government has this way of selling the good news to us in a way that boosts our confidence in a way that if you're a Ghanaian, you know that this money that has come there, like things are about to change. But that's not the case. The true reality is that the IMF money is supposed to help balance, boost our balance of payments. The last time, it's also said that our reserves are, we have just about 3 weeks of imports covered by the end of the year. But the IMF deal is to ensure that by the end of the year, we would have as long as 3 months. So those are the things that the deal essentially in nature is about to do. Not like solve our problems. You know, the last time Opon Kuma said the IMF deal is not a panacea to our problem. And I think that there's not been any truer words said than that. Yes, it has come. It will help us on the way to it. We've already seen inflation reducing in the past few months from I think from February, yes, from 50% to 41%. So like we are a bit optimistic. So now that the money has come at this point, let's just hope that it will slow down things a bit. But even the slowing down may not be very drastic.
It will have to take
some time. And I think that government should slow down on some of the things that they blow things out of proportion. Yesterday I saw the Suman on Twitter saying that the deal has
president's lawyer
the deal has come, making it look like it has come, so everything is going to be solved.
And
but
there were
that's
actually
not the
some old tweets that also popped up. But,
yes.
Sort of at the time, his party was in opposition, and they were sort of calling out the government at the time that for going to IMF.
You know, Ghana's problems can only be solved by Ghana, not any other, not China, not. But you know, I mean, it's not like we are happy that the things are the way they are currently. But I mean, you are doing the same things you were calling out people for doing. So you don't really. It's like a cyclical run. You just go back to the same point.
So let's come to the IMF in itself. You know, they put out a country report yesterday. They had made mention of a few things that I think are quite troubling, especially a debt sustainability analysis that they had conducted from their end. They had found that Ghana had breached that DSA, and that was what had placed the country in debt distress. What do you make of the view that this money coming in would, you know, sort of make our debt a bit sustainable?
Well, like I said earlier, I think that we've already even been assigned a resident advisor
at the Bank of Ghana.
Yes, to ensure that some of the things that we do are being checked. And the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Ministry have been accused that of cooking up numbers and not telling the true state of the matters that are really bothering us, or like the figures. You know, numbers don't lie. Yeah. And definitely they will do. When Bank of Ghana was saying that our debt to GDP ratio was at 80%, the IMF World Bank saw that it was figure. Yes, it was over 100%. Then later, finance ministry came to say that, oh yeah, it is, but some other things were not added. You don't do that.
So there was some massaging going on there.
You know, and like I've not really paid attention to the debt sustainability analysis part of it, but I'm sure it was just one of those things like we breaching that's the contract, or like what we're supposed to do. Like you don't state the true figures. How do you expect that you are even going to get? So when we were above 100%, we're reporting that we're at 80%, and those that even at that point we were at debt distress levels. But they were just trying to make it look like, oh, it's not as bad as it looks. It's okay, but that's not it. And I think that we should be just truthful. Just say what is actually happening. Don't try to massage. When we talk about transparency, that's all we are looking for. Tell us what exactly is happening, and let's know how to move forward with that.
Thank you, Stella. It's been very interesting. I'll take a quick break and then we'll be right back. I've been speaking with my colleague on the business desk, Stella Sogli, and we are discussing Ghana's recent approval of a 3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund, and we are delving into a country report that was released by the fund on Ghana. We'll be right back after this break.
Everyone needs the perfect snack to munch on during a fun moment. Enjoy the tasty McBerry Twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat.
Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk.
Yummy.
McBerry Twist cupcakes, simply irresistible. Try one today.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back from that break on BizTech. I still have here with me my colleague on the business deck, Stella Sogli, and we've been talking about Ghana's approval for a 3 billion loan request from the International Monetary Fund. Stella.
Hi.
Yes, it's Sikanaba.
Yeah, but we are very happy. I mean,
yeah.
we're hoping. I mean, on Monday, I think the creditor committee's assurances came on Friday.
Yes.
So on Monday, like, we're all in high hopes. Even the dollar reacted to it.
Yeah, we started seeing some appreciations. Funny. I mean, it's gone back to...
I mean, it was 11:19 in the morning. Then
it was 11:40
like
11:70. Yeah.
Then the following morning was 11:80. I'm like, what's happening?
I think the consumer sentiment is playing a role, because I think on the market, the analysts and all the bond holders are, they've been expecting the money to come. Yeah. So that is definitely going to affect, the chart a bit. But as to when the money lands, which is Friday, which is tomorrow, 19th May, it will hit 600 million, will hit the Bank of Ghana's account. 600 million will hit the Bank of Ghana's account. And I mean, we're yet to really find out what exactly some of the money will be used for, although we've been told that we use balance of payment. But now let's come back home to the Ghanaian. Do you think the Ghanaian will be benefiting from this 600 million?
Not benefiting per se. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't... and I think it's a job of the media to put it out there that the money is not coming for us. Like
it's not coming into our pockets. Yes.
Exactly. But it's like when you go through the documents, it states the various things that it will be focusing on. So part of it is for education, health, social protection,
interventions.
Yes. And those kinds of things. So they are going to focus on projects in those areas that would, in turn, I mean, benefits the ordinary Ghanaian. Yeah. Yes, but in actual sense, it's going to hit the Bank of Ghana's account. We've not been able to get some foreign reserves in a long time, since last year when we were shut out of the international capital market. So we've not been able to get foreign reserves flowing in like they used to. Even now, government's only source of borrowing is treasury
bill market,
some concessional loans and all of that. So that money, the IMF money, is basically going to sit there. When we say our balance of payments, it's just the inflow and outflow of
transactions.
Exactly. So more dollars come into the economy. There's less pressure. Up the local currency. Exactly. Demand and supply. When there's more dollars, the demand will go down, and when the demand goes down,
it goes up.
The city can, gain some breathing space. I wish the city can go back to 8 Ghana cedis or even 7 Ghana cedis.
Well, I think to best of both, but I think that would be wishful thinking, because
I wish.
I mean,
so much in my heart, because I have serious business I want to do with the dollar. And if it goes back to 6 or 7 cedis, hallelujah. I mean, and
we'll praise God for that.
Exactly. And BDCs, oil marketing companies, all depend on dollars to run their business.
Purchase,
exactly. So if the dollar this month, for the second pricing window that started on May 16, we saw a slight reduction in the price of fuel, just because the dollar was a bit stable. Last month, there was a reduction in oil prices on the international markets, but Ghana did not benefit.
Yeah, because
even oil prices,
it didn't translate back home into the
oil. Fuel prices still went up anyways because the dollar didn't do anything. So we were not, we didn't get any benefits from it. So now if our reserves look good and the Bank of Ghana has more dollars to pump into the economy, I think that is where we'll benefit indirectly. Maybe to have some impact as well on inflation. When inflation reduces, at least we can see some Because right now, where the inflation is, the price of food.
My government argues that at 42%, it's coming down a bit. So,
Mawuli,
but it's still very high.
Last time, when we had a discussion about inflation, there was one thing we forgot to highlight, that the fact that inflation has reduced from 50% to 40% doesn't mean anything. At least it means something. But see, let's do this. If last year a product was 100 cedis and inflation was at 20%, and 20% on 100 cedis is 20 cedis, it means that it will go to 120 cedis. Now that inflation has reduced and inflation went up to 52% by December.
That was astronomical.
Exactly. So if in October it was 120 cedis, when inflation goes to 50%, the 50% will now reflect on the 120 cedis. So it's no longer just 50 cedis of 100 cedis. So it's now 50% on 120 cedis. And that would be like, we'll be giving you like 52 cedis.
So now you need more cedis to buy what you used to buy before.
On the product. So now that inflation is reducing, if items have gone to, look at the last time we were talking about needle and
milk and
sanitary pad, and sanitary pad is now 17 cedis. I mean, if there is a 40% increment on sanitary pad, just imagine it's going to about 20 cedis or even more. So inflation may come down. It just means that the rate at which the prices will be increasing may not be as much as they used to, and that would be good. Of course, if it's 20%, if it goes back to like 10%, we are happy, because the rate at which things are going, you need to be making so much more to be able to survive in the current economy. Very
well said, Stella. We'll be wrapping up shortly, but I just want us to talk briefly about the international capital market. You know, there were some recent comments ahead of the approval that we've just received by the Minister in charge of Finance, Adam, that the IMF money that's coming Ghana is preparing to go back to the capital market. What are your views on that?
Well, I think that he even mentioned that it's inevitable for any country to say that, oh, we are not going to borrow.
The borrowing is inevitable.
The borrowing is inevitable anyways, but and so no matter what we do, we would have to go there and transact and do business. It puts us in a certain position.
But don't you, sorry to cut you, but don't you think that there's a disparity there? Because the finance minister at the IMF press conference that was just held a few hours ago made mention that they are not looking at going to the international capital market.
They are not in a hurry. They are not in a rush.
So they are still going to go, but not just yet.
We will. We will definitely go. We'll be back on the market. But just that, like he said, and I think that I agree with the minister when he says, the finance minister when he says, we are not in a rush to go, because we've had to seek financing assurances from China, from countries in the Paris Club, for our debts to. We are seeking debt relief or debt cancellation. Yeah,
and now we still have to get that assurance from the financing, the creditors, to ensure that so that means the second tranche of the 600 million may or may not come, depending on the assurances that we receive. I mean, we've gotten the assurance for the first one, so we'd have to utilize the money in a way that would allow for the IMF to do their review. They would give us the opportunity for the second one and then the subsequent one.
But I think Stefan was a bit optimistic.
Which is the IMF mission chief for Ghana.
Yes, was very optimistic that we will be able to follow through with the program to the end. So I think that I join hands with him in that optimism. But the point I was making about the finance minister saying we are not in a rush was that I agree with him that can we just take our time?
I think we should.
And not try to rush things. You know, the political season is
upon
us.
It's already here.
It's already here. We are seeing branded vehicles for campaign and all of those things. So we are in a period where money is about to be splashed. But are we really, do we have the stomach to be able to contain all that?
We are still in an economic crisis.
Spend anyhow. I saw some fiscal consolidation measures in IMF's report, and I hope and pray that they are able to follow through with those things and guide Ghana's expenditures, because the political season is coming and the party in power would still want to stay in power, and we know it goes without saying. I don't have to be the one to say it. We all know that when elections are coming in Ghana, everybody has to do what everybody has to do. And some things will definitely go on. But we don't want that to happen because this is not like old times. We are not in normal times, like they will say. So I think that this is the point where we have to really sit down and rethink some of the things that we do, not be in a rush to go back and borrow. Because it's borrowing that has brought us here. So if the same thing that sort of toxic relationship is that.
Speaking of toxic relationships, we'll have to hope and pray. We'll have to hope and pray that the IMF money that has been approved for Ghana will be used wisely. I've been speaking with my colleague from the business desk, Stella Sogli, and we've been discussing the approval of Ghana's request for a 3 billion loan facility from the International Monetary Fund. Before we go, don't forget to log on to our website, www.ghanaweb.com. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the GhanaWeb, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, GhanaWeb TV. My name is Mawuli Ahorlumegah. Please do stay for Biz Headlines.